the night. One of them, Alexis McAllister, and the birthday boy today, Alison, are both alongside Emma Dodds.
Thanks, Rich. Well, congratulations, guys. And Alison, happy birthday. 3 points and a clean sheet. That's a nice present, surely.
Thank you, Ed. That's what I asked for the boys before when I had my speech. It was a fantastic game, really tough opponent. They play really well with the ball, and without the ball they are aggressive. They're a strong team. Always play against Italian sides are difficult, but we did good to manage their game and to score enough to win the game and to defend well to keep the clean sheet.
And Alexis, a home debut in this competition and a first ever Champions League goal. A good night for you too.
Yeah, amazing. Really happy personally, but at the same time for the team. As Ali said, he made some good save. Sometimes I think we need to defend better, but at least Ali could show how good he is. So very happy for him and for the team.
And for your goal, it was a sublime cross from Mo Salah. That's so difficult to defend against. And I guess, I don't know for sure, but it's quite difficult to miss from that far out.
Yeah, to be fair, it's quite hard, but you could. You never know, but a goal is a goal. Very happy because in this team we know that when we make a run, Mo can see everything. So really happy for him as well because he scored a goal. So I think it was a good night for everyone.
Yeah, it was a great goal for Mo, wasn't it? He's now the first Liverpool player to score in 5 consecutive European matches here at home. I mean, you get a front row seat watching him. He really just keeps raising the bar, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a player that helps us a lot. Sometimes look like he's not in the game, but then suddenly he makes perfect touch and he puts the ball on the top corner. That's his quality. That's his strength as well. We are lucky to have him, but we have always to highlight the hard work that the team had here tonight. A lot of things to improve still, but was good and enough to win the game.
And do you feel the signs are coming that this team is evolving under Arne Slot? It always takes a period of transition when a new coach comes in.
Yeah, I think it's clear that we are in a transition, but we are happy. We are happy with the ideas, and we are trying to get there. We know that there is still room for improvement, and that's why we work very hard every day.
And the beard is growing back already. Are you going to shave it off again, or is it on the comeback?
I don't know. I'll stay clear a little bit for a while just to do something different.
Congratulations, guys. All the best. Cheers.
And what have you made of his character? I mean, the stats about how well he's done speaks for themselves. But as someone walking in to fill the shoes of Jurgen Klopp, I mean, those are big shoes to fill, such a huge character as well, on and off the pitch. How do you reckon he's done so far?
He's done amazingly well. I think there's a calmness about him. He seems to exude confidence. I always remember first game of the season, we were down at Ipswich for a newly promoted side. There was always a bounce about them. I just thought the way he was, the way he spoke, certainly after the game, about not being happy with some of the standards. You know, he took Quansah off at half-time, replaced with Konate. He wasn't afraid to make that decision really on into his career. But I think there's a calmness. There seems to be, the football club seems to be in safe hands, and that's such a big thing to say after such a huge character like Jurgen Klopp's just left. But so far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just replacing a manager, it's also the length of time and the sort of the DNA that Jurgen Klopp brought with him and instilled over a long period of time. So for Arne Slot to come in, he's not changed too much with how the style of the play, but he's brought his own environment to the club, to the players. And I've seen him before matches come at least half an hour before the players come onto the pitch, so a good 2 hours before, just go and sit in the dugout and sort of almost visualise things on the pitch. He seems to be a very considered person. He's not pacing up and down the sideline. You know, his emotional state seems to be quite stable. It compares to how you've got to be as a goalkeeper. You know, at times you can't let the highs and the lows kind of affect that emotional stability, and it does seem like it has that. It's having a positive impact on the players. They had the little blip against Nottingham Forest, but aside from that, they've looked really steady.
They really have, haven't they? Is he the kind of player you'd want to play for, do you think?
The manager? I think he's the type of...
Did I say player? I meant manager.
No.
Because I was swallowing something, sorry about that.
He does. He's, they play football the right way. He's made subtle changes. He's not made wholesale changes. It's obvious that he's put his stamp on what was a very good side. He inherited a good squad, but he's playing slightly differently. They're playing a little bit more patient now, but at times you still have that football that we saw under Jurgen Klopp, and he's got tremendous players. You know, you don't need wholesale changes, but what I like about it, he's put his mark on it, but they're still winning games, and of course there's still a long way to go, but it's a great start for him.
And jobs like this can really be a poison chalice. You look at Unai Emery taking over from Arsene Wenger. You look at David Moyes taking over from Sir Alex Ferguson as well. When there are big characters and, you know, and someone new comes in, everything can really change. Whereas for him, he seems to have just slotted in seamlessly.
Oh, lovely. He has indeed. And it's not just him. Think the numerous backroom staff, the coaches, medical department. There's been huge changes across all of that backroom staff. So it's not, as I said, he obviously heads all of that up, and he'll have brought in some of his own ideas, some of his own personal people that he's worked alongside. And so it's the whole infrastructure that's been unsettled. So I think to have slotted in so seamlessly, as you said there, is almost quite remarkable. And there's a lot of thought that's gone into how do we, because it is a we, how do we go about doing that? Because, you know, to create off the back of Jurgen Klopp having such a positive environment, having a real good feel factor about the whole club, not just the players, but the whole club, I think it was a big shoes to fill.
Absolutely, but he seems to be slotting it. We're going to use that quite a lot, aren't we, throughout the season. There's a calm, quiet authority about him as well. I was really impressed with the press conference before this Champions League game, because this was a huge night for him coming into this game, but where he just came in, he was understated, really firm, and he was just saying, you know what, it's a call to arms. I want everyone to stand up and just say, you know what, you've missed us, haven't you?
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll be able to ask him in a little minute. I think this is him coming over now. But he will be so pleased with how it's gone so far, and also the way the players have behaved. I mean, I'll ask him now in a minute, but he must be incredibly pleased by how receptive the players been to new ideas. Arne, well done, mate.
Arne, lovely to see you. How are you? Thank you for joining us as well. What are your first emotions after that big win here?
Yeah. Wasn't an easy one, in my opinion. Bologna made it difficult, similar to Atalanta last season. They played man mark all over the pitch, so then you have to wait for the right moment, because if you play through it, then it's completely open. And I think it was many times completely open, but then the last pass was could have been better, let's put it that way.
I was just talking just before you came here about the wider perspective of it all. You must be so pleased with how receptive the players have been to new ideas.
No, definitely, but not only the players. I think also the staff that I inherited of that stayed here. They've been positive from the start, players as well, and probably has a lot to do with us not keeping a lot of things the same, because they were also very happy with the former regime. So then you don't have to change a lot, and the good thing is that they bought into it, and they worked really hard to keep a clean sheet again today, although we also needed our goalkeeper on a few occasions.
You said about the one thing that you weren't completely happy with, the final ball in the final third, that final pass. What things overall were you delighted with? The application?
I don't know if there were many things I was delighted with, apart maybe from both goals, because we scored two very good goals, especially the second one. Came from a moment where Diogo dropped, because they played man mark all over the pitch. Then if a striker drops and keeps the ball, great ball from Virgil, great attack, great overlapping run from Trent as well. So I was delighted with that goal. But it's always difficult to play a team that takes that much risk and is constantly on top of you. Second half was better in pressing, I felt, than the first half. So overall, good result, but I wouldn't use the word delighted. Myself today.
Well, this is it, because you said you don't want to settle for mediocrity. You're always looking for ways to improve. If you had to do a school report on tonight, what were the main areas where you would look to improve tonight?
I said during halftime that I thought it's difficult. So if the other team, like I said, plays man mark all over the pitch, and you play a long ball and you don't win it, and they have the ball again, I see sometimes heads go down a bit. Again a loss of the ball, again a loss of the ball. And then they wait too long before they start pressing again, and then you give the initiative away. So in my opinion, that happened a bit too much in the first half. Second half, we started off pressing much better. and we had more control, in my opinion, in the second half than we had in the first half. So with the ball, it's not easy if they are constantly 1v1. So it was, I don't think our goalkeeper in the first 8 games touched the ball so many times as today. But he's the only player who's free, because they play man v man. And then we kept the ball better in the second half than in the first half.
Can I just ask you about Gravenberch's contribution?
I was delighted with him.
Yeah. So very delighted. You must have told him at half-time. I was delighted with him.
No, I don't tell my players that I'm delighted with them at half-time because it's 45 minutes to go. But I said after the game, again, a big performance. He played really well because, again, I come back to this man v man. So if you then have a player that can turn away from his man, you immediately have an overload. And I think that happened in the first minute already where Virgil played him and he turned away. But we were a bit unlucky or not perfect in the last ball. But Ryan was, again, outstanding today. Yeah.
How do you account for the change in momentum? About 25 minutes into the first half, it kind of switched. It looked like Bologna had the best chances in that last 15 minutes of the half to score a goal.
Yeah.
Is that concentration?
I don't think it's concentration. It started off with a free kick they got over here, and I think a few times that we conceded that was out of set pieces as well. And the team gets momentum from this if you concede a chance, and that's what happened. But I think you could also see today that they have a very good game plan and a very good idea about football. They just kept on playing out from the back. But the first goal we scored was a pressing moment for us where they might have maybe taken a bit too much risk, which led to a fantastic goal from us. But yeah, if you play against a team that's comfortable in ball possession, yeah, sometimes you have to suffer as well. You have to work hard. And what I was also delighted with, so there are a few things, is if I look at Ibu, Virgil, how they throw themselves in front of a ball, how they do everything to keep a clean sheet. That is, I think, the mentality we need to keep a clean sheet.
No, fantastic clean sheet. And as you say, difficult moments, but you survived them, like the game against Wolves at the weekend as well. And I think this one is a good example of that. I don't know if you're aware of this record that you've set tonight. Has anyone told you yet that you're the most successful Liverpool man, or you've had the best start to your Liverpool tenure? 8 wins in 9 games in all competitions. You're the only Liverpool manager to ever do that, Arne.
It's hardly impossible to do something special at this club because of all the trophies that has been won over here. But I think it says a lot about where we started off with, how much the players bought into it, how much effort they put in, and how much the staff that helps me as well to create this start. But yeah, I said as well that even more difficult fixtures are coming up, starting on Saturday where we play a 12:30 kickoff after playing on an evening Champions League on Wednesday. So yeah, but it's nice to start this way. That's clear. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Have a little celebration. We'll see you back on TNT Sports with us on Saturday.
Well done, mate.
Arne, congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you. Goal against in the Champions League, actually, is called, shall I get that right? 5 consecutive goals at home in the Champions League. First player to do it.
I thought you were impeccable.
Do you know what? It's late. I only just had a cup of tea. Do you know, when you look at that victory, look, really stylish finishes in the end. Arne Slot, it was interesting talking to him as well, because they didn't have it all their way, but it just shows the class of this side to get the job done. That was the most important thing in this league phase of the Champions League. There's nothing more important than that.
Interesting talking to Arne Slot there. He wasn't happy. You could tell. I think he kind of outwardly, he was saying all the right things, but I think he would have been slightly annoyed in the dressing room, I would say, and told his players that not to give up those chances, not to give the ball away too sloppily. But having said that, you've got a player like Mo Salah. He's world class, and the ball was fantastic for the first goal, but again at the finish, he comes inside. It's like the moment he gets on that left foot, you know what he's going to do, but you just can't stop it.
Yeah, you absolutely cannot stop it. Let's take a look at the first goal, though, because Mo Salah did have a hand in this one. Alexis Allister on 11 minutes, his first ever Champions League goal, this one. And it was just the perfect delivery from Salah, and it was just a beautifully worked goal.
Yeah, lovely build-up play from Allister. He's involved in it right from the beginning, and to say that he was purely an assist, Resh, I think it's a bit harsh, because he put it on a plate about half a yard out from the goal line. But you can see here that McAllister's rolling, it finds a pocket between the defensive line and midfield line, then breaches that once again, gets forward of it, but he never switches off. He's thinking, where can I be? Where do I need to be? Back post, left footer, in swinger was always going to be from Mo Salah at that time. goalkeeper's expecting a shot, so he's kind of square on to Mo Salah, expecting that. And when it doesn't and it's drifting in, it's just too late for the goalkeeper to come and collect.
It's lovely from Allister starting that move and obviously finishing it as well. Mo Salah was fantastic. But there's a lot of talk about Liverpool's midfield in the summer, and they need to strengthen in there. But those three look really, really settled. Curtis Jones is waiting in the wings. Harvey Elliott obviously injured, but they've got strength and depth in those positions, and Gravenberch has become there's a revelation in there, I think.
Yeah, and the manager really was pleased with him today as well. As you say, they're just looking solid in that position. And then you've got Mo Salah as well, a player of his ilk, coming and scoring right in front of the Kop as well. What a beautiful strike that was.
Oh, that was such a good goal, honestly. Credit to Trent, obviously, great build-up again, coming through the centre of the pitch, gets out to sort of wide right, and then Salah's got him. But if you look at Trent's run, it was a brilliant run, and he took the defender away, and that opened it all up for Mo Salah to come inside, and he's devastating when he does this. Look at Trent's run here, and he's literally got to go with him, but if he stays where he is, he could potentially stop the goal. But it was a great run from Trent, really unselfish, and a fantastic finish from Salah.
Yeah, and Szoboszlai was really influential in the game, I thought, as well. We talked about McAllister, we talked about Gravenberch. Szoboszlai was seemingly everywhere as well, played a hand in leading up to that goal as well. But Jota, when he came on, I felt he lifted the Liverpool team, brought a little bit of, it's a different dimension, different type of player to Núñez, but I thought he brought a little bit of extra quality as well.
Yeah, the substitutions definitely made a difference, didn't they, Peter?
I feel for Núñez a little bit. He didn't do a lot wrong there, but Jota's got the shirt, and listen, I've been in that position before when you're trying so hard you've got an hour to impress, and you know that when you see Jota warming up that your number's going to be coming up, and he'll be disappointed, really disappointed, but he'll have to keep going, and he will get his chances this season. There
were a couple of those chances where, Rachel, you and I were looking at each other thinking, it's actually just so frustrating to see him miss them. What needs to change for him? Is it just practice? Is it something in his mentality where he doesn't sort of get downbeat if he misses a chance, for example? It's just kind of keeping that positivity, but it's difficult when you're getting those chances and you're not putting them in the back of the net under this level of pressure.
It wasn't just that, the execution, the final bit. It was the odd couple of runs that he'd made too early and was offside, and how many times we saw that was frustrating for fans to watch last season and frustrating for him, I'm sure. He needs to just keep learning his role, to learn how to be the best attacker, the timing his runs, arcing his runs, all the things that Peter knows much more about than me. But it is just rehearsal time and time again, and looking at the detail. Okay, I think Maka was saying in commentary, you've got to see the back of the player's defender's shirt. You can see the back of the player's shirt, you've gone too early. So it's the timing of everything. And having last season, I remember watching a couple of games with Núñez and just thinking, what is the missing kind of ingredient? And at the time, it was almost trying too hard and just not having that little pause and breath, that bit of composure when striking the ball. But we've seen him score a brilliant goal, so far this season. Just got to keep working away at the basic technical aspects of being a striker.
Yeah. OK, well, let's take a look at Bologna's chances, because they did have a few efforts, didn't they, particularly, as we said, towards the end of that first half, where Liverpool lost a bit of control, which Arne Slot talked about, that little bit of sloppiness. But, they'll be sad to not get something from this.
Yeah, you can see Bologna's tactic. It was quite often came from when Alisson had a goal kick and he was playing out short, which I understand the tactics, because if you play through that, then you play through the lines, that's when they're high. But when you do get caught, that's quite often when they're in on goal, and they get caught here. And it was chance after chance, and although Alisson gave the ball away a few times with his feet, he was fantastic when he was goalkeeper, when he was saving shots, and they couldn't get past him today, and it was a little bit wasteful from Bologna, but Alisson is a world-class goalkeeper. That's what you expect from him.
Second half, I think Alisson managed playing out from the back a lot better. So on quite a few occasions, from goal kicks or from having possession in a deep position, he looked to go long, and it wasn't always, but it looked like he'd been given licence to have the choice to manage the game how he felt best.
Yeah. OK. Well, it was a big win for Liverpool then. Let's take a check on all the results across Europe tonight. There were 9 matches all across TNT Sport. And take a look at this. A huge win for Benfica, but a huge defeat, you have to say, for Real Madrid. They travelled to Lille and they leave with absolutely nothing. Lille beat them by a 1-0. And how about the scene?
Birthday, he can do what he wants, the big man. Happy birthday to Alisson. Interesting in what looks on paper like a comfortable win, but similar kind of chat that we had last night in a very different context about playing out from the back.
Yeah.
Bologna kind of smelt opportunity where Liverpool didn't have to give them that, did they?
No, it was a weird watch because Liverpool were cruising in the game. Once they took the lead and made it 1-0, you thought they'll get their foot down, and they sort of did for a period. Then all of a sudden they went a bit loose. Alisson started taking chances at the back. It encouraged Bologna to then put like a sort of static press on. They got encouragement because they were sort of winning a couple of balls back. Then all of a sudden, too many chances. Bologna hit the crossbar. All of a sudden, Anfield was a little bit anxious, a tiny bit. And then all of a sudden, Liverpool couldn't get out of that groove. They couldn't get out of being sort of sloppy. They couldn't get more chances in the game. And then what I would say is when Salah scored his goal, it was a brilliant goal, but it was very professional. We've seen these performances under Jurgen Klopp in Europe, so I wouldn't sort of label this as being an Arne Slot performance because the football in the first 20 was actually quite good.
Yeah.
First 10. You know, Mo Salah dinks a lovely little ball into Allister, who said in the interview there, they're in transition. They're still sort of learning. They're still starting to get Arne Slot's ideas across. And then Mo Salah.
Yeah, it's more...
It's more the laziness from the number 6, actually. It doesn't track Mo Salah, but what a finish.
On the edge of the box.
Oh, no, what a finish. Look, if you're in that midfield and you're Morrow and you're wearing the number 6 and you're at Anfield and Mo Salah's 4 yards away, you've got to put the effort in to try to stop.
Yeah, just briefly, on 6s, obviously they were looking for one, tried to get Zubimendi, changed his mind. Maybe they found one that they already had in Ryan Gravenberch. He's playing well.
I think incredible transformation, really, for somebody who never really played like that in a double pivot. He played more in the midfield 3 when he was at Ajax, then didn't play much at Bayern, didn't play much last season either. With
Really?
club,
No?
Really. And now to have made him and to form him into this 6 double pivot, the running with the ball, breaking the line with the ball, his passing is good, his physicality is great, and he's going to get better because this is all new to him.
But, as he says himself, the manager, haven't played any good teams yet.
I think that's a little cheeky dig at Manchester United when he's endeared himself to the Liverpool fans. No, he's right to a certain degree.
Bigger tests to come, might be a fair away.
Bigger tests to come, but you have to just take your hat off to him because the hole that Jurgen Klopp would have left, he would have done his job well when we're not mentioning Jurgen Klopp's name.
Yeah.
And that might take 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. They still mention Alex Ferguson's name at Manchester United.
Good point.
Do you know what I mean? They've gone through 4 or 5 managers.
Yeah, yeah.
So if he can keep... Listen, for me, he's got a B+ so far. He's done great. The one thing I would say is the playing out from the back. I think it's important because you need to play through the lines, and Gravenberch back, it's done well because he's a ball carrier and a ball handler. But I think this team have played so much on instincts, like that rock and roll football, and it's almost like feels like at times you're taming the beast a little bit. They do need to be a bit more civilised in their build-up. That might help them. But there's better Liverpool, like the boys were saying, like when they're on the front foot, the crowd's on their back, and they've got so many great attacking players, whoever they play.
You're swapping steak tartare for a salad, are you? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, sometimes you've got to take a little bit off of it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Just the odd chickpea,
medium rare.
alfalfa, medium rare,
I think with Ryan Gravenberch, because there's just such a talent there, but he's so young and he's learning this position. Yeah. There will be a time when his form dips. That's then the time to put Endo back into the team and have a true... I'll still die on that hill saying number 4, by the way, instead of 6.
I think you're right.
That'll be the time for Endo to come back in the team.
Interesting.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Guess what? It is, as Jamie's been calling it, table time.
Table time! Jamie, take it away, baby! And this is a big part of why I love this new setup. The 36 teams, but the big thing that stands out is we've got 7 teams. We've got maximum points, 6 out of 6. Some big names in there, of course. My own Liverpool. Top of the table, Dortmund. They are top of the table because of goal difference. Brest in second place, the big story right now of French football, and as we all know on this show, we all love a bit of Brest. So, we move on. I mean, there's some teams here who are on 4 points. They'll be quite pleased at the moment. The thing that really sticks out tonight is some of the big boys lost. See, Real Madrid, they lost tonight, first time. 36 games, they've been unbeaten. The weatherman. PSG lost yesterday against the Arsenal, so some big teams still got a little bit to do. But the one who's got some real work to do is AC Milan. 2 games no poids, and it's an absolute European giant. And what's your role in all this?
The dance.
Oh, you're the dancer?
The dance.
Okay. So, Kate, that's the table. Match day 2. It's starting to look exciting. We're starting to get a glimpse of what it may be going forward. And there's a little bit of work to do for some big boys, but hopefully some of the outsiders here keep doing what they're doing. That was table time.
Yeah, everybody's favourite, table time. We got one more part, everybody. Let's keep the fun going. We'll be back in just a second. Welcome back, everybody, to our Champions League coverage. We're going to show you the table one more time, I think, because I just think it's interesting to kind of talk about where we are now. Match day 2 is done. We've got the new format going on. The table looks interesting, doesn't it? The table is not what we would have expected it to be, I think. Although, obviously, the point of this new format is that we get,
It's early doors, though. It's very difficult to. I think as we know, the big surprise is the team that's second on the table. Then after Villa, let's all be honest.
Yeah.
Villa being there, obviously playing Bayern Munich, Sparta Prague being there also, Atalanta. Then after Milan being solo, maybe. If not,
I think the thing for me, I think that the top clubs, I think will go through, but I think everyone will be desperate to go through into the top 8. No one will want the extra 2 games in terms of that qualifying round.
The playoff.
If you're thinking of having a great season, your domestic season, and going far in the Champions League, if you could have 2 free midweeks in maybe February, those games are. I think that's a really important fact, and that's why I think that the games will be really competitive all the way to the end, because if you get some really big names in sort of from 9 to 24, they won't want to be in that position.
I forgot about, obviously, Barca, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid on 3 points. That you don't have one of the 3 with 6.
Yeah.
That's a surprise for me.
Favourites to win?
That's
after
early,
2
man.
games?
That's early, man.
Favourites to win the competition or to win the league?
To win the competition.
No, we should be looking at who can actually win the league to start with.
Manchester City.
You think City will win the actual league format?
Yes.
Can I ask you about match day 3? Because there's a couple of interesting fixtures coming up there as well. Barca versus Bayern is perhaps the biggest one that we'll see match day 3, but you've also got Dortmund playing away to Real Madrid, repeat of last season's final. You've got Brest at home against Leverkusen. But Barca Bayern's a good one, especially after that loss of Vincent Kompany now takes on even more importance for him.
Is it Barca Bayern or Bayern Barca? Sorry.
Is it Barca Bayern, everybody? Toddy, Matt?
Barca.
It's at Barca?
Ooh. So what I'm saying is that puts pressure straight early on Bayern Munich. You know, we're talking about this new format. It's a tough game. They'd feel like they have to get something from that. Because you then sort of... And again, if they lost that game, they'd probably still find a way to be between 9 and 24. But the big teams will be desperate to make sure that they get in that top 8. That'll be a big thing for them.
Bayern losing a game also in the group stage. Doesn't happen often. Oh, group stage, sorry, not bad.
Yeah, it's the same thing, new league phase now, but as it was, group stage.
I was a little bit disappointed with Bayern today, if I'm being totally honest. Thierry called it in a meeting earlier that they're good, but when they face a team in a low block, they find it difficult. I mean, my mate Kompany, I wanted a big night for him tonight. Wasn't meant to be, but if they're going to, get into that top 8, they've got to do a lot better than tonight.
So match day 3 coming up in a couple of weeks, is it? 3 weeks. But we will all be in Athens together next week. Ooh, road trip for the team.
We get paid for that?
Yes.
Is that for free? Is that for free or do we get paid for this?
No, it's for free. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Good to have you with us.